the legalization of drugs. They need to do it. Do it. I hate when a former president says some shit like this, too.
Yeah, but here's the problem.
It's like they say it when they're out of power, you know? Legalization of drugs is the way to combat cartels, former Mexican president says. Let's see if we can find his exact quote in here somewhere. Mexico's Senate is expected to vote in favor of a bill to legalize the recreational use of marijuana in the coming days in a bid to choke off a black market dominated by violent gangs. Several Mexican Senate committees tabled draft legislation on Thursday to make the commercial production and sale of marijuana legal, expanding on a Supreme Court decision last year which deemed the country's ban on personal cannabis consumption and cultivation unconstitutional. Current President Andres Manuel Lopez, or you have so many names, Obrador, I guess.
Yeah, Obrador
has also been critical of Mexico's protracted drug war and signaled openness to a new approach. Since leaving office in late 2006, Fox has been a vocal advocate for the legalization of medicinal and recreational marijuana and blah, 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 blah. Well, what about all drugs? The headline says all drugs. I want you to legalize them all. Why is it always just got to be marijuana? Why can't we just make everything fucking legal already?
So if you go down...
I mean, the same... Like, if you buy...
I'm saying if you want to read his quote, it's
okay.
Right, it's right there.
Sorry. Blah, 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 blah. Watching that example, we see that in a natural way, the old illegal underground activities start to disappear by themselves because now they don't have a market. The market is taken by the new situation, the new products, the new corporations being provided. If you go to Washington State or Seattle, you see today many of the old places that we used to look that were underground providing product to consumers. Now they have formed part of a new industry that is legal. Now, instead of committing crimes by distributing drugs, they do it as a businessman, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so my thing is, like, if you buy that logic for weed, how can you possibly not buy it for other drugs? Like, what's the fucking difference? I mean, I understand there's different, like, not every drug is the same, but, like, obviously these other recreational drugs that people are using are, by and large,
it's the social
no more
stigma
harmful.
Around those drugs.
They're no more harmful than marijuana is, for the most part.
You know,
I mean, some of them obviously some of them are harmful.
I've done some thinking about this recently,
yeah.
And I don't think I don't know if I was ever a supporter of full legalization across the board for every fucking type of drug. But now I don't even think I'm a supporter of that kind of thought anymore, because it would have to come with so many provisions that reinvest in mental health care in this country and treatment facilities, like all of that tax money that was gained from the open and legalized market for like heroin and meth and shit would have to go directly back into shit that would pour money into those communities and help them fight the scourge of it. And if that doesn't happen, then you're just inviting your society to kill itself, basically.
I feel like we already are in the midst of a scourge, and the money's not going anywhere. It's the only place the money's going right now is to fund black market,
I agree,
criminal activities.
Well, not only that, but failed law enforcement attempts as well. Just constant over-policing of the fucking population.
People want to do drugs.
Clearly.
No, I agree with that. I just don't agree with just dropping the bomb that is legalized store-bought drugs onto a society without a massive reinvestment in mental health care facilities and treatment programs and family.
We've already seen that.
We'll look at countries like Portugal that decriminalize a lot of these drugs,
right?
And then you go to
I'm for that.
I think that's probably a better stopgap. And like Paul said, and looking at these addiction thing, and like now make it a law enforcement issue, make it a mental health issue, and make it a fucking healthcare issue.
It's a public health issue.
Yeah, it's really a public health issue, if anything.
The thing about decriminalizing, though, is you're not going to do anything about those black markets selling this shit. The money is still going to go to fund criminal enterprises.
Sure. But
why not tax that? Why not tax the sale of drugs like we tax the sale of everything else that people fucking buy and reinvest it into fucking communities and shit?
The studies they've done in those communities, people are less likely to use drugs.
Right. Well, I think people would be less likely to use drugs if they were legal, too.
I mean, maybe not.
I don't know about that.
I mean, certain drugs.
I could see arguments both ways. I have a feeling that there's a lot of people that would jump on the bandwagon with a lot of different types of drugs if you could just walk in and get them.
I mean, obviously, people are going to do it. I'm not saying that, but like, I don't think people are going to go do fucking crocodile or something You know,
Probably not.
But
when
you'd
they
have
can
to
go buy
legalize
the heroin.
What if they wanted to do it though?
Then let them do it. I mean,
who's gonna supply it though? The black market? Or are you gonna have government stores selling crocodile?
well, I mean, there probably wouldn't be enough demand for the stores to even bother carrying something like that. So yeah, I guess that would still happen through a black market transaction. But
mean,
it wouldn't be necessarily a black
there's
market. It
always
just have to
ultimately-
be like a direct from supplier kind of
There's
thing.
always going to be some sort of a black market because not everything's going to be legal.
I mean,
Right.
so I don't even know.
I mean, the total abolition
People-
of a black market is almost a fantasy.
People wreak havoc on their families because of these drugs.
Right, but they're
So-
still doing that even when they're illegal. And in
Right.
fact, I feel like the stigmatization of it being illegal a lot of times prevents people from going to get help because they're afraid of legal reprisal for their addiction.
Well, with decriminalization,
I agree
you
with
could, you could-
decriminalization.
you,
Right.
You could
So,
definitely still get people.
That would still solve that problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think the greatest ill of drugs is what it does. Yeah, what it does to families and what it does to people themselves, and being in the throes of addiction. And if you could treat that issue, I think you'd be a lot more successful as a society getting people off these drugs.
But treating that issue is so fucking deep. It goes like it could go as deep as you want it to go.
well, that's why
It's not just a one like
That's why we need
throw
univer-
money at the problem.
Well, that's why we
issue.
need universal health care. That's number one.
Universal health care.
It's
We
a
need
big
a
component.
complete reimagining of public education
Oh yeah.
from the bottom up to produce people that are capable of participating in a society, you know, that has that type of fucking new impetus on its fucking people to be smart about using drugs. So if you're just churning out a bunch of depressed, unengaged teenagers, I don't think you can just legalize heroin and say, yeah, go out and
Yeah.
kill yourselves. You know what I mean? It's just fucking crazy to me.
Yeah, well, I could
Because
get
most of these teenagers, I got to be honest with you,
Yeah.
can't find fucking heroin.
right.
It's not a simple thing finding somebody. I mean, some people can do it and some people can't.
I remember when I was in school, it seemed like there was pretty much any drug that I could get if I really wanted it.
Well, yeah, me too. But
If there's a will,
not
there's a
everybody
way.
knew the people I knew.
That's true.
You know what I mean? There was a whole subclass
But I mean, like,
of students that couldn't go to
when
the
I say,
store and
when
get
I say
heroin.
legalize drugs, I don't mean like any fucking teenager can walk into the store and buy it. I mean, I understand that they're still going to find ways to get it. Don't get me
course.
wrong. Just the same way they
Straw-
find
a
ways
s-
to get alcohol and
a
cigarettes
straw buyer
and all the
you
other
know,
things.
Hey,
yeah.
I'll give you $50 if you go buy me some heroin.
I mean, when we're
But
talking,
they still have to make that connection and stuff. It's not going to be as easy as you just saunter into the store and like I'm 12 years old. Give me my fucking heroin fix. You know.
well, no, but I mean, you know, 18, what 21?
And
What's the
I mean,
age limit on
maybe this-
legalized crack?
I don't know. Whatever probably 18 or something.
probably 21. If you're being honest.
Whatever. But maybe it would prevent some suicides. We got a suicide epidemic right now. Maybe it's better that the kid gets addicted to heroin than
Maybe
kills
it would
himself.
cause some suicides as people
Maybe.
know how easy it is
I
to
don't-
overdose on this shit.
I mean,
true.
a lot of people do OD from this, but I don't think that they're ODing from it because, they're simply because they're wanting to do the drug. I think they're doing the drug because of the other issues they have in their lives. If you look at what addiction is, it usually stems from past
Of
traumas
course.
and
It's
past-
self-medication of trauma.
Yeah, they're dealing with something else. It's not just saying, "Hey, I want to go OD on heroin." No, there's people like that in the world. I've met them, but I don't think the majority of addicts are like that.
Become a patron, and I'll pull my dick out live on a show. I'm shit you not. Asterisk. Paul may not actually pull out his dick, but
He'll think about it.
I will heavily consider pulling out Big Jim and the Twins, as I call him.
Wow.
And we will do it.
Finally.
And look, I'll add this in too. Me and TJ will do everything in our power to convince Paul to fulfill his promise.
Right.
That he, in fact, has not promised anything, but it said potentially will promise to pull his dick
I said
out.
I'd think about it.
Well, he'll think about it. Paul will think about pulling his dick out.
But you know what? Even while I'm thinking about that, even while I'm deliberating about that, if you become a patron, you still get a bunch of shit. You get an extra show every week. You get the full, unabridged Flash Fried. You get movie commentaries, one of which we're about to film right now.
Right this minute.
You get behind-the-scenes stuff. You get ideologies just for you.
See,
I've been doing a lot of. Yeah, I've been
Didn't
doing
TJ just
some
do a
stream-
4-hour stream?
Yeah, I did a 4-hour drunk
TJ's
stream
been
last night.
streaming, drunk off his ass on 2 bottles of wine.
Yeah.
I've been.
You get a whole smorgasbord of stuff while I decide whether or not
Yeah.
I'm going to pull out the Palooza or the Magnum.
Yeah.
The Magnum Breaker. That's what they called
Magnum
me.
Breaker,
That's
dude.
what they called me back in high school.
Wow.
Paul the
Damn.
Magnum Breaker Parkey was my
If you want to see Paul's enormous tree trunk of a
enormous
cock,
doesn't even begin
Yeah.
to fucking you got to understand. It's comically huge.
become a patron, you bastards. You know you wanna.